Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Halloween. I hope this month was a good one for all of you out there. I wanted to do something a little different for this video actually, but October has definitely been sort of a roller coaster, and I'm just glad to be getting into some cool fall weather, and hopefully that'll bring in some newfound energy. But to get to this task at hand first, and as you can see in the title, this is a video about Among Us. I'm sure you've heard of Among Us by now. It kind of became this overnight sensation and has continued to be this phenomenon really that a lot of people are jumping on board for and have already jumped on board for and having a really fun time with, and it's bringing a lot of people together. The basics of this game really are just that you and the rest of this lobby are potential crewmates, and you're asked to complete tasks all around whichever map you happen to be playing on, and all the while, there's an imposter, or more often than not, multiple imposters whose only objective is to create chaos and doubt within that group about who the imposter actually is in order to take them all out one by one. And either the crewmates or the imposters will win depending on how all that goes down, and whoever is, if there's two imposters, if you can get down to two imposters and two crewmates, you'll win. If there's only one imposter, you need to get down to one imposter, one crewmate to win. And so it's just who can you finish the tasks also before the imposters can get to that point. And so there's a few different ways to win here, and it adds a lot of potential outcomes, and it's a really fun time to do that. Just in terms of that alone, just in terms of the game premise alone, I think that's a really cool one. But what adds, the real reason why I think this is doing so well is, of course, the huge emphasis on social skills and social deduction and how good you can be at lying or figuring out when other people are lying. And you really have to pay attention also to what you're seeing in the game, and while you're doing whatever you're doing and doing your tasks, are there other people faking their tasks or doing their tasks? And you got to remember who you saw where, what color it was, because of all because of all that stuff going on at once. It really does move at this breakneck speed, and games will tend to last maybe 10 minutes or so. Sometimes it'll be shorter, sometimes longer, and that really becomes the perfect formula in creating this just one more game scenario, and it'll keep you in its grasp for hours at a time. But there was really one main reason why I did want to make this video in particular, and that's about playing this game solo. Right now, if you look for any gameplay of it on YouTube or Twitch, it's probably going to be full of lobbies, of these friends or acquaintances, people that kind of know each other at least, and maybe just a full lobby of full-time actual friends who are talking to each other, most likely on something like Discord. And it adds, of course, this huge element of getting to deliberate and discuss amongst each other about everything going on with their own voices, of course. And that is definitely the recommended way to play this. And if you can, you have to, you want to do that. It'll just make it so much more fun. And I think that's the big reason, again, why this became a perfect game for Twitch and all these streamers, all the YouTube videos that you're seeing of it, because it is interesting to hear people, even if you don't know who they are, no matter what they are, they're all in the same scenario. They need to talk their way around this situation they find themselves in the game, and whether they are the imposter or if they're being accused of being one. And it's interesting to see all these different personalities and different people just try and see what their strategy of trying to get out of it is, and how they do it differently, if they're good at it, if they're terrible at it. And it's a really fun thing to watch and get to know these people a little bit better. The thing is, though, if you're like me and you couldn't pull together 10 people even if your life depended on it, then you don't really have that option, to really play that way. And what you're left with in that case is that you play through the text chat. And if you're someone that isn't comfortable really at all talking over voice chat, but you do feel extremely comfortable, getting to anonymously chat as whoever you're being online, and it can almost be cathartic in a way. I'm a very shy and introverted person to a pretty extreme degree. I can go days without saying a word to anybody, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I run at a pretty low energy level all the time, and even when I do want to talk to someone really badly, the words just don't come out sometimes, and I simply don't have it in me to say them for whatever reason that may be. But in text chat, it's the complete opposite. To let out all of these words that are just flying through my head all day and that I can't get out and I want to, it's a very positive experience for me in general to find these different avenues where you can let all that out. That is what Among Us brings here. And I do want to say, though, all that being said, you are bound to meet up with some of the absolute weirdest people. It's the internet, the discussions are bound to be weird. And in fact, I would say 7 out of 10 lobbies or so that you join are gonna be pretty awful. And not in the sense of just awful people all the time, awful in the sense that maybe they're just dead and, no one's really saying much. And I promise you that those other 3 good lobbies have a good spirit about everything, generally just, having a fun time, hanging out with strangers online. That makes up for it. It makes up for it completely, and that for all the other bad lobbies. And there have been a few where I just felt like I genuinely made friends for a few hours, before logging off, knowing that I'll likely never talk to them or ever see them for the rest of my life. And that's a really cool thing to experience in a way. And even then, I do really love this game for the nature of the game itself. I mean, even in the lobbies, like I said, that are pretty dead, they're not active at all. They just talk in the meetings with the basic, where, and it was this person. I still have a pretty fun time. If you can round up a good amount of friends together and get a chat going on, or maybe even sticking with the text chat, with friends, if they're not down for a huge voice chat with other people, I still think it would be an absolute blast every single time. And especially in a time like this, with the pandemic still going on and everyone staying indoors, or at least still staying indoors more than ever before, it's the perfect thing to just help connect you with people you might not be talking to as much otherwise. But again, even if you're all on your own here, and you shouldn't feel bad about that if you are, it just happens sometimes. I think you can find a lot to like, and maybe even love here. You get to stay anonymous, you get to talk to other real human beings, and most importantly, you get to lie, betray, and murder your way to victory. And that's a recipe for success, in my opinion.